Where was it from? Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ويجوز البيع بالفلوس النافقة وإن لم يعين. So this masla is open that window a bit. Get stuffy. Just pull that. There should be a metal bar there. Pull it. That's it. Yeah. Watch it. Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's it. Okay, so ويجوز البيع بالفلوس النافقة وإن لم يعين. So remember we mentioned before, gold and silver are the normal two commodities or bimetal that are used for buying and selling. Besides that, there's also a sub-currency that was used in the olden days known as fulus, pieces of metal that were considered to be what the dirham and dinar made up. Like we have pennies, 10 pences, 50 pences to a pound. Yeah, so this was known as fulus. So يجوز البيع بالفلوس النافقة. Fulus is of two types. So you have fulus which is in circulation. Yeah, so fulus that's in circulation, and then you have fulus that's not in circulation. So you have fulus that's in circulation and fulus that's not in circulation. If fulus is not in circulation, this is not in the ruling of currency. It's in the ruling of pieces of metal. And if you have fulus that is in circulation, then it's in the ruling of currency. So it's permissible to trade with fulus, with this currency, this what we call fiat currency. وَإِن لَمْ يُعَيِّن. Even if a person, like the buyer, when he goes to buy the chocolate bar in the shop, even if he doesn't specify which coins he's going to give him, it costs 50 pence, he doesn't pull the 50 pence out. He could give 50 pence, he could give 5 10 pences, he could give 2 20 pences, 1 10 pence, etc. The transaction is fine. Make sense? Okay. What if this money is now not in circulation anymore? So وَإِن كَانَتْ كَاسِدَةً لَمْ يَجُزْ الْبَيْءُ بِهَا حَتَّى يُعَيِّنْهَا. However, if these coins are no longer in circulation, let's say there's a war-torn country, currency is all stopped now. No more, they don't use currency anymore. Now those notes they use, those are not going to be considered to be legal tender anymore. They're not going to be considered to be fiat currency. So what happens? So now those coins that are used are going to be considered to be like any other object, bartering. So imagine you went to the shop to buy a chocolate bar and you gave a cup, or you gave a pen, or you gave some wheat, or you gave anything. So this is now considered to be bartering. So when gold, silver and currency are used to buy and sell, you don't have to specify them. Does that make sense? You don't have to specify them. When something which is non-gold and silver, they have to be specified before exchange takes place. Does that make sense? So like if you want to exchange a mobile phone for a bag, you have to say to the person, I'm going to give you this mobile phone. Just like he has to say to you, I'm going to give you this bag. You can't just say to him, do you want a mobile phone for this bag? Because that mobile phone is unknown in his head. Which one is it? Make sense? So it has to be specified that I'm going to give you this one. When it comes to money, you don't have to do that. When it comes to money, all you have to say is the amount of money you're going to give. Right? You don't even have to show what the money is, which coins you're going to give. You understand that? So if the currency is in circulation, then okay. If it's not in circulation, then you have to show the seller what you're going to give him, because it's not in the ruling of currency anymore. Okay. وَإِذَا بَاعَ الْفُلُوسَ النَّافِقَةِ. If a person, he sells fulus and nafiqah. Ba'a al-fulus and nafiqah. In other words, like currency exchange. Imagine a person sells some currency. Then what happens? So on Monday, let's say in January, he sold currency. ثم كسدت قبل القبض. Okay, let's say Monday. Monday he sold with fulus nafiqah. Currency, he sold with that. He was supposed to give the money, it was a deferred payment, credit. He was supposed to give the money or the coins a bit later. Before possession took place, before the other party takes possession of the coins or the notes, they lose value. Yeah, they're no longer in circulation anymore. All of a sudden something's happened in the country and they're no longer in circulation. Yeah, so what happens now? So in this situation, كسدت قبل القبض, then there's an ikhtilaf between the scholars. So ثم كسدت قبل القبض, then they lose, they leave circulation, they have no value anymore. بطل البيع عند أبي حنيفة رحمه الله تعالى. According to Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, the transaction becomes nullified. And if you remember the ikhtilaf we mentioned about Abu Yusuf rahimahullah and Imam Muhammad rahimahullah, that same ikhtilaf applies here. Yeah, that either you look at the value of it on the last day that money was in circulation, or you look at what the value was on the day when you sold it. You understand? Okay, next. Now this is a bit of a tricky masala. This is a difficult masala. A lot of students find this masala quite difficult. So what is the masala? Look, imagine I go to the currency exchange, the foreign exchange, and I have a silver coin, and this silver coin weighs 100 grams. Yeah, they don't usually weigh 100 grams. They weigh like only about 3 or 4 grams. But I'm just giving an example. So this silver coin weighs 100 grams. So what happens now is, when I go to the shop, I say to the shopkeeper or the currency exchange, I'm going to give you this silver coin. So let's say, for example, like Ikram is the shopkeeper, and I say to him, I'm going to give you this silver coin, and in exchange for this, half of it, I want half silver. Yeah. So in exchange, I'm going to give you one silver coin. Half. What's half of this silver coin? 50 grams. So in the 50 grams in exchange, I want half a silver coin. Yeah? Okay. And the other half, the second half, what I want is, I want half of this. In other words, 50 grams except 1 gram. Does that make sense? So I'm going to give you one silver coin. Yeah. So what do I want in return? I want a coin which is equal to 50 grams of this. And I want another coin which is equal to 49 grams of this coin. Do you understand that? Yeah? Everyone got that in their head? How that works? Okay, that's one masla. Another masla. I give you the coin. I'm going to give you this coin that weighs 100 grams. Half of it, I want a coin which is equal to half the weight of this coin. So in other words, what do I want? 50 grams. And the other half, I want a coin that's equal to the weight of half a dirham. Not this specific dirham, but half a dirham, except a small amount. So in other words, let's say there's another coin that weighs 101 grams or 102 grams, let's say. Yeah. So I want this coin, half of this coin, a coin which is equal to half of this, which is 50. And the other half, I want you to give me the weight of half another coin, except for 1 gram. Yeah. So I want you to look for another coin, half of that, and take 1 gram off and give it to me. Did everyone understand that? This is like a tricky kind of question. These kind of things people don't do usually. But just trying to get you to understand how the whole of this masla works. Does that make sense? Okay. So, what would the ruling of this masla be? Look at the first one. I'm going to give you a silver coin which is equal to 100 grams. How much should I get in return? How much silver should I get in return?
100.
Exactly 100, isn't it? So if I say to you, I want half of it silver, and the other half I want silver, but a small bit missing. In other words, I don't want 50 grams, I want 49 grams. Is that legally allowed? It's not allowed, is it? Because I'm giving you 100 and you're giving me 90 back, 99 back. Does that make sense? That shouldn't be allowed. But in the second scenario, when I said I'm going to give you a coin that weighs 100, and in return I want half of it silver, and the other half I want you to give me half of the value of another coin, except for 1 gram. Is that possible?
It sounds more or less the same, but the second one could fluctuate because you're basing off an external coin.
Yeah. So can that be jaiz?
It might end up being 100 grams in scenario 2 if it's based off an external coin.
The first one is totally not jaiz. The second one can be made jaiz. So you got to look for a coin, a dirham, which is slightly heavier than the one that you're giving, so that it can compensate for that 1 gram that's missing.
So Ustad, is this the same transaction where you've got one guy is giving 100 grams in exchange for this particular half and a little bit less than, and it's saying for the second coin, it's saying the same person saying make up for that with the second coin.
With another coin.
Yeah. So it's the
Any
same
coin. So the statement's very similar, but it's just one saying that from this coin, it has to be relative to this coin, and the other one saying relative to another coin. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so those are the two maslas. Now before those two maslas, there's another masla, very easy to understand. Man ishtara shay'an bi nisfi dirham. Whoever goes to the shop and buys something which, like buys a chocolate bar, or buys a crisp, or buys something which is equal to half a dirham, fulus. Yeah? Man ishtara shay'an bi nisfi dirham fulusan. Yeah, in the form of fulus. Is that transaction permissible?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's permissible. Jaz al-bay. And what does he have to give to the shopkeeper? He's got to give him. But legally you can't, in an Islamic country, you wouldn't be allowed to cut a dirham, because the government stamps them. So you can't legally cut them. So what are you going to give?
Half the value of that.
Yeah, you got to give something which is half the value of a dirham. Could be a sub-currency. Yeah. Or you could say, take this and then owe me that money back. وَعَلَيْهِ مَا يُبَاعُ بِنِصْفِ الدِّرْهَمْ مِنْ فُلُوس. And he has to give in the form of fulus. Fulus, which is equal to half a dirham. Like in our terms today, if we took a pound as the dirham, what's half of a pound? 50 pence. Yeah. So in their days, they'd have something which is its counterpart. Does that make sense? Okay. Ya Allah. Next, this is the masla, that tricky masla. Man a'ta sayrafiyan. Sayrafiyan, this is a person who does foreign exchange, a jeweler. Whoever gives a sayrafi, dirhaman, 1 dirham, and I told you the weight of this is how much? 100 grams, just to make it understandable. And he says to the seller, I say to Ikram, a'tini, give me, binisfihi, look where the damir is, half of it. So where does that it go back to? This coin. Fulusan, in the form of fulus. Wa binisfihi nisfan, and with the other half, give me half except a little bit. What does that mean? Yeah, that coin. So if this half of this coin is worth, it weighs 50 grams, I want in exchange for that, 49 grams. Yeah, that shouldn't be allowed. Yeah, fasad al-bay' fil jami' inda Abi Hanifa rahimahullah. According to Imam Hanifa, he said this transaction becomes defective. Not allowed. Yeah, simply because, like we said, because, yeah. So even the other half, even in that, it's not allowed. The other half should be allowed, shouldn't it? Because there was a fair transaction there. It was the second part that wasn't allowed. The other 49, 50 to 49. But Imam Hanifa says all of it's not allowed. Qala, and Sahibain, they say Jaz al-bay' fil fulus. So they split it. They split the transaction. And what do they say? That the first half is allowed and the second half doesn't go through. Now why is this for? Yeah, batala fima baqiya. Yeah, it's void in the rest of it. Because they say that when he said this statement, I'm going to give you, look at it, it says, أعطني بنصفه فلوسا وبنصفه نصفا إلا حبة. If he had said this, أعطني بنصفه فلوسا, that would have become one contract. And then if he had said this, وأعطني بنصفه نصفا إلا حبة. See, he repeated the fi'l twice, didn't he? When you repeat the fi'l twice, it becomes two jumlas. So two jumlas becomes two contracts. So Imam Hanifa is saying there needs to be two statements for two contracts. And by making the fi'l all one, ma'tuf alayh all put together, what does it become?
One transaction.
One transaction. So if half of one transaction nullified, what happens to the other half? Nullified. So they say you assume inside of this that there is two transactions. Does that make sense? Okay. وَلَوْ قَالَ, but if he said this, أعطيني نصف درهم, give me half a dirham, فلوسا ونصفا إلا حبة. So look, give me half a dirham. What's the difference between this sentence and the previous one? The previous أعطيني one. Look, أعطيني بنصفه فلوسا, أعطيني نصف درهم فلوسا.
Specifying that.
Yeah, damir there. The damir goes back to this coin. Yeah, give me half of it. And the other one just saying, give me half a dirham fulus. Wa nisfan, and half, except habba, small amount. Jaza al-bay'u. Everyone says this transaction is what? Jaiz, permissible. Does that make sense? Everyone understand that? Got it? Okay. Alright, last masla now. وَلَوْ قَالَ أَعْطِنِي دِرْهَمًا صَغِيرًا. If he says to the other person, so he gives a dirham, yeah, so I, for example, I give a dirham to Ikram, and then I say to him, أَعْطِنِي دِرْهَمًا صَغِيرًا. Give me a small, in exchange for this, I want a small dirham. Because in the olden days, it wasn't like all standardized. Some dirhams would be slightly heavier, some would be slightly lighter. So he says, in exchange for this, I want you to give me dirhaman saghiran, whose weight waznuhu nisfu dirham illa habba, whose weight is half a dirham except a small amount. Wal baqi fulus, and the rest of it is in the form of fulus. Is that allowed? Yeah, I give Ikram. Yeah, I don't have any coin on me, but I give Ikram a coin, and I say, here's something, in return, I want you to give me a small dirham. Yeah, small dirham. Waznuhu nisfu dirham, which weighs half a dirham. I didn't say nisfihi, did I? Just half any dirham. And the other half, I want fulus for it, whatever fulus. It's allowed, isn't it? Because you can find a dirham which will compensate for that loss, which will equal to the weight of this dirham.
So Stan, would you have to then find a dirham which compensates?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only way to make it jais. And the foreign exchange, he will be an expert in that. He can do that. You got that? So jaz al-bay. وَكَانَ النِّصْفِ إِلَّا حَبَّةً بِإِزَاهِ الدِّرْهَمِ الصَّغِيرِ وَالْبَاقِ بِإِزَاهِ الْفُلُوسِ. Yeah, so the nisf dirham, the half that he's asked for, will be illa habatan, is going to be in exchange for, or will be parallel to, the small dirham. Yeah, and the remainder will baqi bi iza'il fulus. Yeah, the remainder is going to be in the form of fulus coins. Everyone got that? This is the whole point of these three maslas is just to show you, like, the whole summary of how foreign exchange works. In foreign exchange, it has to be equal. Silver for silver, gold for gold. And if it's different genus, then it can be different. Yeah, pounds for dollars, anything else, it can be different. As much as you like. Everyone got up there? Okay, next chapter now. So next chapter, this is Kitab al-Rahn. So Kitab al-Rahn, Rahn means security, mortgage, or pawning. Security, mortgage, or pawning.
So is this what they currently use Islamic banks exist, they must last for it.
For Rahn.
Run.
Yeah, it's used.
Security thing.
It's used, yeah. It's not like a main sort of product in the Islamic finance transactions, but it's used in there to guarantee. It's basically like you're trying to get a guarantee that the other person is going to pay you. And if you can't, it's going to be leverage.
Because in this one, probably come across it, you were saying that there has to be some other form of guarantee. There has to be another item, commodity, that you're using as security.
Yes, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, but nowadays, if someone gets a mortgage from them, they're not going to have another item.
Yeah.
You understand? The bank will probably just take that house that they.
No, I don't know if they use it in the buying a house,
No.
but they do use it in some products.
Okay.
So in some products, they'll say to you, for example, like if it's a big business and you want them to do some sort of like partnership with you, or I don't know, that you want them to buy something for you in order.
House and security. Or something.
So you put your house as security,
Yeah.
as like
And there has to be
mortgage.
that third commodity that you're putting in.
Yeah, something else. It can't be that thing itself.
Yeah.
It has to be something external. Okay. Yeah. So this is called Rahn. Now look, in Rahn, there's the item, the Rahn, security. Let's say, for example, Imtiaz goes to buy a laptop from Arib. When he goes to buy this laptop from Arib, the laptop costs £500. Imtiaz does not have £500. He's going to pay the money in 1 month's time. So Arib wants to trust him. He wants to do business because he needs customers. But at the same time, there's a risk here as well. So Arib says to Imtiaz, give me something as a guarantee that if you don't pay, at least I can sell this off and get the money from that. So he goes, okay, I'll give you my car keys. So here's my car keys. I've got another car. Take them car keys. Keep them with you. And in 1 month's time, I'll bring the money and then I'll take the car keys back. This car keys is known as the Rahn. Does that make sense? Yeah, so this is known as the Rahn. He is known as the Rahin. Imtiaz is called the Rahin. The guy who's given the car keys to the other person as a security is known as the Rahana Yarhanu Rahin. And the other person, the receiving end, who takes the security, he's known as the Murtahin. Have you got that? Yeah, so Murtahin. So there has to be 4 things in a Rahan. Number 1, there has to be a Rahan, security. Number 2, there's got to be a guy giving it, the Rahin. Number 3, there has to be what we call a Murtahin, guy receiving it. And number 4, there has to be an acceptance. He has to accept it. You can't force someone. Make sense? Okay. So this concept of Rahan, like I said, it's there as a means of security. Yeah, security. In other words, the seller, he wants to make more business. He wants to get more customers, more clients. But the problem is what? He's scared. He's scared that he might lose out money. People might rob him. And not everyone wants to pay upfront. Some people want to pay later on. So you need security. So this is why this chapter is quite big. Yeah, chapter is quite big because there's lots of rulings in there. It's going to take us about maybe 2 or 3 lessons to cover this. So first of all, how is Rahan established? Now Rahan is a non-commutative transaction. Commutative transaction is where there's exchange on either side. You do something because you want to get something in return. And a non-commutative transaction is where you do something voluntarily. You're not forced to do it. Like giving a gift to someone, giving sadaqah, yeah, giving a Rahan. These are known as non-commutative. Yeah, everyone understand that? Yeah, so no one can be obliged, no one can be forced to give a Rahan. You don't want to give it, you don't have to give it. Okay, so a Rahan yanaqidu is contracted bil ijab, with an offer and acceptance. Yeah, in other words, Imtiaz has to say to Arib, look, is it okay if I leave my car keys with you? Offer. And Arib says, I accept. And it only becomes complete bil qabd. So qabd meaning that Imtiaz, when he hands it over, Arib has to take possession of it for legally there to have been a Rahan done. Does that make sense? So for Rahan to take place, to be executed, Arib has to take possession of the keys. He can't, like, Imtiaz can't say this, you know my car, keys at home, anytime you need it, just pick it up, right? No, you can't do that. You have to hand over the keys to him. You got to make him in charge of it. Does that make sense? So this is why it says يتم بالقبض. It's finalized with possession.
So Ustad, if he takes the laptop but doesn't give me the key, what does that fall under?
That's it, transaction. Now he owes you the money.
Yeah, so he just owes me the money.
Yeah. So now at least you can go to sleep at night in peace, thinking that you're going to get the money somehow. If he can't pay you after a month,
Yeah.
then the courts will take that, will make him sell it and give you the money from that.
No, so if he
So he can't use his car. He can't use the car. You've got the car until then.
No, but let's say he says, "Oh, the keys at home."
No, then the Rahn will not take place.
Okay.
Transaction's done,
Yeah.
but the Rahn itself legally hasn't started yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember that? Okay. فإذا قبض المرتهن الرهن. Murtahin, switch this with Arib. When Arib takes possession of the Rahn, muhawwizan. Muhawwizan means fully. He's taken it fully. Mufarraghan. Mufarragh means empty and void of any sort of usage. So in other words, let's say this car that Imtiaz has got, he's still using it for his going to work and all that. Therefore it's not mufarragh. Yeah, it's not farigh. Or for example, Imtiaz has got this car in his partnership with his brother. So if he gives you the keys, the car is not his fully. Yeah, someone else's rights are on there as well. And mumayyizan. Mumayyizan means that it's distinct. It's not like something like this, this house. I have half ownership of this house. So that half ownership I'm giving to you. You can't be that. Or I have shares in this company. Those shares in this company are yours. No, it has to be mumayyiz, totally separate. Something distinct, defined.
So what's the first word? Is it muhawwizan?
Muhawwizan.
So you know that the
Or
Murtahin,
muhawwazan, it's a mafud.
when the Murtahin has to physically take hold of the item with qabd.
Yeah.
Can you do then Rahn with things that you can't physically hold, like here's my house as a deposit?
Yeah, the deeds in it. Deeds.
But there always
keys.
has to be something tangible.
But he won't be able to use it.
Can't stay in the house.
He's not allowed to stay in the house. Yeah? تم العقد فيه. The aqd, the contract of Rahn will be considered to be legally complete now. It's finalized, it's executed, binding. Everyone got that? Make sense? Yeah? Okay. So if Imtiaz has got a house, let's say, in London, right, and he says that house is a security. No, why won't it be accepted?
He hasn't got the deeds, so he hasn't given you.
Because he hasn't handed it over to him. He's got to hand it over to him. Yeah. Or for example, like he says that, I've got a plot of land, yeah, which is being used at the moment by some people. No, it can't be security. Security's got to be something. The whole reason it has to be like this is because if something does happen, yeah, it can be used by the governments as a security or leverage to pay for, guaranteed to pay for the laptop.
Can't have any strings attached to it.
No string attached. Because then, if let's say he can't pay for it,
The next person is in.
yeah, it's going to turn out to be a long court case. Someone else is involved and their rights and this and that. Everyone got that? Okay. وَمَا لَمْ يَقْبِضْهُ فَالرَّاحِنْ بِالْخِيَارِ. Now look. What if Arib hasn't taken possession of these car keys yet? So, Imtiaz has bought the laptop, hasn't paid the money yet. He's going to pay the money next month, May, 1st of May. And Arib hasn't taken possession of the laptop yet. So the keys yet. What happens? So, because he hasn't taken possession, Imtiaz has the right to take it back. He can cancel at any moment. He can cancel the Rahn, the mortgaging.
The contract not complete until he takes the
Contract's not
qabd.
complete. Exactly.
Shouldn't the choice be with the Murtahin though? Rather than here we say the choice is with the Rahim
No, because you got the choice to retract your.
offer.
Because remember, it's a voluntary, isn't it?
Okay.
It's all voluntary.
Give the collateral.
Yeah. So the item that you're giving, the collateral that you're giving, this is all voluntary on your behalf. It's not binding on anyone.
Can the Murtahin actually suggest an item?
Yeah, you
No.
can. You
So
can.
he can even suggest an item.
You can. He can say to you, you know what? Give me your watch.
Okay.
Yeah. Or give me this, give me that. Yeah. فالراهن بالخيار. So Imtiaz has a choice. What's his choice? إن شاء سلمه إليه. If he wishes, he hands over the what? Yeah. وإن شاء رجع عن الرهن. And if he wishes, he can retract the rahn. But he has to do this prior to qabd. Once he hands it over, إذا سلمه إليه, when Imtiaz hands it, meaning the rahn, إليه, to him, to Arib, فقبضه دخل في ضمانه. And then Arib takes possession of it. Now it enters into his daman. Yeah. So now it goes into his liability. He is responsible for anything that happens to it. If it gets destroyed, that will come back to him. Yeah, you're going to be safe from this. Everyone got that? So دخل في ضمانه. Now it will enter into his liability. Meaning now he becomes legally responsible for the item. Okay. Now, what kind of things can you do rahn for? So look, rahn, in this case, why is he doing rahn for? Because he doesn't have money, does he? No, because he's bought a laptop, hasn't he? So because he is in debt to him, he owes him something in exchange for something else. Rahns can be used in those sort of contracts. In a contract where something is owed mutually between two people, yeah, an exchange has been made, rahn can be used there. So therefore, لا يصح الرهن. Rahn is not permitted except بدين مضمون, a debt which a person is liable for. If there's a debt for which a person is not liable, then you can't use rahn in there. So we'll stop there, inshallah. Maghrib.
So what kind of debt will you not be liable for? That if you're buying something, you're going to be liable.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, inshallah. Yeah.